Welcome to AI Webinars by American Industries. Thank you for being here this morning. Our today's topic is Manufacturing in North America, Nearshoring Opportunities. We're pleased to welcome our today's host, Rogelio Vasquez, Shelter Director at American Industries, who will be introducing our speakers. Welcome, Rogelio.
Good morning to all our distinguished audience. It is a pleasure to be with you in this webinar, Manufacturing in North American Region. We're American Industries, a Mexican company with 44 years experience. Our mission is to help foreign companies to start up and run their operations in distribution and manufacturing in Mexico. Today, we count with 5 talented and experienced speakers, and with them, we will have the opportunity to see the advantages to expand and grow your operations in a binational location, Texas and Chihuahua. They will show us how you could have a successful operation, profitable, fast, and secure. Now it is a time to introduce our first speaker, Rolando Pablos, former Secretary of the State of Texas with the conference Nearshoring Manufacturing Operations, a binational alliance. Rolando Pablos works with Cross-National Advisory Partners, a consulting firm dedicated exclusively to guiding and assisting governmental, private sector, and non-profit organizations in their efforts to access domestic and foreign markets. He is a strong advocate for North American market integration, and most recently, he served as the 111th Texas Secretary of State and the Texas Border Commerce Coordinator. With you, Rolando Pablos.
Thank you, Rogelio, and good morning to all. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm honored to be here speaking to you about this great opportunity to bring manufacturing to the US, Mexico, and Canada. First, I'd like to thank my co-panelists, Secretary Alejandra de la Vega, Emma Schwartz, and Wilfried Caben. Special thanks to Mr. Luis Lara and Alejandro Lara. Mr. Lara is a giant to the industry. He is perhaps the foremost expert in manufacturing in Mexico. And I've been honored that my firm has been working with American Industries. And we've been developing the concept of North America First. Now, we've heard of America First, but we are promoting a regional approach. We would like to raise awareness about the tremendous manufacturing and logistics environment that exists in our continent. We are highlighting the importance of working together as one allied international region and trading bloc. And we're working to showcase our combined capabilities as 3 distinct but unified nations. It may not be obvious, but we want to tell our story. We want to establish a narrative. We believe that it's our responsibility to educate and talk about all the great things that have been occurring in our continent here. What I hope, next slide please, what I hope that you will take away from today in today's presentation is really to have a better understanding of this Texas-Mexico binational mega region. For those unfamiliar with our part of the world, we'd like to give a quick overview of the region. Talk about the impressive foundation that has been built for manufacturing over the years. We believe it's important to note the efforts over the years on both sides of the border to create this world-class manufacturing zone. But first, I wouldn't be doing my job as a former Secretary of State of Texas if I didn't first take a moment to brag a little bit about Texas. Let's go to the next slide. So let's talk about Texas. Texas, is the world's 9th largest economy. We have built a global economy. We have been the #1 exporting state in the US for the past 18 years in a row now. We're very proud of that. The Texas Miracle is founded on business friendliness. We have focused on creating an excellent fiscal environment by providing fair regulation and focusing on building this tremendous economy. Next slide. Most importantly, we have looked at our manufacturing. Can we have the next slide, please? With respect to manufacturing, 10% of all manufacturing in the US has come from Texas. Almost 1 million Texans are employed in manufacturing. And so, we focus mostly on our economic development efforts on 5 areas. Next slide, please. We focus on advanced manufacturing, aerospace, aviation and defense, biotechnology and life sciences, energy, and information technology and cybersecurity. So why am I telling you all this about Texas? Well, I'm saying this because we believe that this tremendous success could not be possible without Mexico. We are excellent trade partners with Mexico. Mexico is one of the main reasons for our success. We are each other's trade partners, #1 trade partners. Our proximity to Mexico has benefited our economy in Texas in very significant ways. So when we look at our economic development efforts, we always think in terms of the region. And this mega region is why I wanted to speak with you today. Next slide, please. We speak in terms of the Texas-Mexico mega region, which is a unique manufacturing powerhouse, not only in terms of energy, tech, tourism, and agriculture, but most importantly in terms of manufacturing and logistics. And even though we promote the whole of Mexico, we are drawn to those relationships we have with our immediate neighbors. These are the Mexican border states of Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas. This proximity corridor accounts for most of our trade. Even though we work with the rest of Mexico, this is where the focus is. And to illustrate this point, I want to show you the next slide, which is really a testament to the commitment of building this mega region. It shows that in Texas, we have almost 30 ports of entry that we share with Mexico. It's a significant example of the connectivity that exists and the commitment to border development and to the binational region. So this is just a small example. But drilling down to what is perhaps the best example of binational manufacturing and logistics cooperation, we need to look at the North American borderplex. This is a significant manufacturing hub. It's a perfect example of binational coordination, collaboration, cooperation, and making the manufacturing sector strong and attractive. The borderplex is the nexus where Texas, Chihuahua, and New Mexico meet. This is a top manufacturing hub, and it stretches from Chihuahua City all the way up to Ciudad Juarez and El Paso. Next, what I believe what makes this place a great place is that it offers the best of both worlds to those seeking to land here. Here we find tremendous industry experience. The manufacturing industry has been in the making for over 60 years now. We have a robust logistics network, vast supplier base. Many manufacturing clusters have formed around here, and we have extremely qualified and plentiful workforce. Next. But none of this has happened by accident. It's been through coordinated efforts on both sides. We have worked hard to develop this environment. We have seen binational collaboration in building a world-class manufacturing corridor, a solid commitment from both sides, and there has been some very successful regional integration efforts. Some examples, next page, please. Some examples of these efforts, we can take a look at if we break it down into government, private sector, and academia. If we just focus on government for now and drill deep, we have seen mayors on both sides of the border cooperate and coordinate their efforts. We have seen our governors meet on a regular basis to talk about, the importance of trade, the importance of that infrastructure. We have agencies on both sides that are focused on improving the manufacturing environment. We have programs in these agencies like the Border Trade Advisory Committee, which is run by our Texas Department of Transportation. At this time, we have commissioned a $10 million border master plan study that focuses on what the future of our infrastructure needs will be, and is committed to working with the Mexican side of the border to make sure that we have a world-class infrastructure. In Texas, we have export assistance and trade expansion programs. On the federal side, we've seen Senator Cornyn come to Ciudad Juarez and fight for us up in Washington. We've also seen Representatives Hurd, Escobar, and O'Rourke be great champions and advocates of what we're trying to do. Through our US and Mexico consulates on the ground, we have seen great support from them, not only in providing us on the ground information and intelligence, but they've also worked to help the companies who are trying to land particularly in Chihuahua, get a real understanding and a true understanding of what the situation is. And so, you know, the U.S. State Department and the Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores have done a great job in helping our companies come to the region. The Federal Reserve Bank has also done a great job. They've focused on gathering data and analyzing the data, publishing it, and helping us better understand what the economy looks like. And we've had federal agencies like CBP create excellent programs to facilitate trade and travel, such as Nexus, Entry, FAST, CT-PAT, to improve our supply chain efficiencies and reduce border delays. So all of these agencies at the federal, state, and local level have worked to improve this international trade corridor and make it one of the best that there is. Next slide, please. Now, with respect to the private sector, we've seen manufacturers associations, we've seen, you know, various trade organizations, chambers of commerce, and economic development entities embark on efforts such as lobbying in Mexico City, in Washington, D.C., our respective state capitals. They've worked to develop clusters for talent and supplier development. We have seen very good regional unification efforts coming together as one region, looking into the future, identifying what our needs will be, what the needs of those coming to invest here will be, and trying to make this place a better place. We have seen financial organizations provide access to capital. And then we've seen, again, you know, the federal and state agencies focus on infrastructure development. Next. Another element of our joint collaboration efforts has been with our universities and our NGOs. We have at UTEP, we have the Hunt Institute. Texas A&M University provides information through their Transportation Institute. They do excellent work in analyzing our transportation infrastructure. We also have Rice University, Tony Payan at Baker Institute, and Mission Foods Institute at SMU. You know, from a university perspective, we're well covered. We collaborate and we work with them to better understand the needs of those playing in this manufacturing hub. We also work very closely with the Wilson Center, with Duncan Wood and Chris Wilson up in DC, and the Aspen Institute. And so, you know, bringing all of these parties together, all these entities together over, you know, decades have really allowed us, has allowed us to develop a world-class manufacturing center on both sides of the border. And I'm very proud to say that right now we have tremendous interest from all over the world in companies wanting to reshore to North America, looking at Texas, looking at this Texas-Mexico mega region. We know that relocation is an important decision. It's an expensive proposition. And we just want you to know that you're not alone. You wouldn't be alone, not only from the perspective of the entities I just mentioned in government, in private sector, in academia, but with respect to what American industries can bring to the table. You know, every time that I've sought to enter a new market, I always look for a trusted local partner, someone who understands the environment. And I believe that American Industries has done a great job. We're working with them to promote the North America First concept. And as you can see, this manufacturing region is a well-oiled machine. We've come together. We have not done it alone. You shouldn't do it alone either. You should focus on what is most important to you, which is ensuring that your operations are well run. And when you're looking at where to locate your operations, we hope that you look at this Texas-Mexico mega region, particularly the Borderplex region, which is ready to go. There are hundreds of maquiladoras of manufacturing operations already on the ground. There's a tremendous supplier base. And so we just hope that you can rest assured that your entry will be a smooth entry, that your entry will be with a set of partners that could be there to support you every step of the way. And so for that, I thank you. I wish you good luck in your efforts, and please know that we're here to assist.
Thank you, Rolando. We appreciate very much your time, and thank you for clearly showing all the advantages to be located in this already integrated binational location. A pleasure to have you with us. Before to go to the following speaker, I want to tell you that this webinar will be recorded for future consulting. And at the end of the webinar, my colleague Juan Ivan Alvarez will provide you all our contact information. Now, Alejandra de la Vega, Secretary of Innovation and Economy of Chihuahua State in Mexico, is with us with the conference Nearshoring Manufacturing Operations, a binational alliance. Alejandra de la Vega was appointed in 2016 by the governor of the state of Chihuahua, Mexico, to serve as Secretary of Innovation and Economic Development. She is also a businesswoman and entrepreneur and has been actively involved on both sides of the border. Mrs. de la Vega serves or has served on numerous business, civic, and charitable boards and committees. With you, Alejandra.
Good afternoon to all. Gracias, Rogelio, por la introducción. I take this opportunity to say hello to Rolando and congratulate you. I've followed Rolando, a friend for many years, his career in promoting the Border Lakes region as Secretary of State. And also thank American Industries for the invitation to share with you some information about the state of Chihuahua this morning.
Next slide, please.
At this time, when the medical device industry faces one of the biggest challenges, this pandemic has pushed the sector to increase production and they make changes in the processes and products to find solutions in the supply chain. All this is complying with the highest standards and regulations of the medical industry. When you hear about medical device manufacturing industry in Mexico, you may have heard how big and well developed this industry is across the border. What you might not have heard is that the #1 production spot for the entire industry is in the state of Chihuahua in Ciudad Juárez. Last year, the value of the exports in the state of Chihuahua for medical devices surpassed the state of Baja California by 4% for the first time. While Tijuana has more employees in this sector, Chihuahua manufactures more value-added product, which takes its next export value above any other in the country. This is in great part because the metropolitan area of Ciudad Juárez has the highest economic complexity index in Mexico, measured by NAICS codes produced in the area above Monterrey and Querétaro.
Can I make a parenthesis? Just to let you know that we are hearing double sound. If it is possible for you to lower the volume, maybe this could help us. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, it is better, Alejandra. Thank you.
Is it better now?
Yes, it is better. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
I was telling you about Juárez having the highest economic complexity index, which makes a competitive industrial manufacturing region for products of high value added, which require high quality standards and highly trained talent available in this region. The combination of all these different factors have made Chihuahua the highest net exporter in Mexico, with 14% of total exports and only 5% of the population. The state's exports have increased by 29% since 2015, going from $40 to $56 billion annually. This growth has occurred above the national export growth rate, increasing the importance of Chihuahua with respect to other states in the country of Mexico. Consider that Mexico is already the second net exporter of medical devices worldwide to the US, and this success is driven greatly by Chihuahua. Mexican exports in 2018 were a total of 489 billion US dollars, of which medical devices accounted for a total of 9.89 billion US dollars. This represents 8% of the worldwide exports in medical devices, positioning Mexico in third place worldwide. Ciudad Juárez alone accounts for 2% of those global exports. Can you move to the next slide? It's a couple of more slides, please. Next. From the state government of Chihuahua, we firmly believe that the strategy for the development of our industry must be based on these three main factors: the development of talent and human capital, multi-sectorial and interinstitutional cooperation, and a joint technological innovation strategy. Next. Chihuahua is not interested in competing for projects based on cheap labor. Our objective is to increase the wage of our citizens to levels comparable of those to most industrialized economies in the world. That is why we invest in technical education. 30% of our undergraduates choose careers based on engineering, science, technology, and mathematics, the so-called STEM. We graduate more than 6,000 engineers each year and operate one of the most advanced manufacturing training centers for the aerospace and automotive industries in the country. Next. Chihuahua seeks to be a reliable partner that sets the conditions for businesses to succeed. To give certainty and transparency to our international partners, Chihuahua has led a frontal fight against corruption and in favor of transparent government. To ensure the best working conditions, we invest in productive public infrastructure, industrial parks, highways, bridges, hydraulic networks, hospitals, and all the enabling infrastructure that allows private investment to establish itself in the best possible conditions. To increase the participation of our SMEs, we promote the formation of business clusters, associations, and chambers that allow us to take into account the entrepreneurs in all the fundamental decisions of our government. Next. Chihuahua is located in the heart of the most dynamic commercial bloc in the world, halfway from the two coasts of the United States. Next slide. Among many others, Chihuahua has particular strengths in the automotive, aerospace and defense, medical devices, and electronic industry sectors. Thanks to the high level of talent of the people of Chihuahua, Chihuahua has been in a high industrialized state for over 3 generations. Next slide. Some of the companies that have established and grown in Chihuahua with us and continue growing, you can see on this slide, virtually all the major worldwide players like Nipro, Covidien, G Healthcare, Mead Johnson have been in Juarez for decades and continue to have a successful business in this region. Next slide. With this strategy, it is our intention to further extend the list of success stories to call Chihuahua home. Foreign companies have always had a bastion of quality and warmth in our state. We want to continue growing. So we open our arms to new projects with the know-how, the quality, and the efficiency to grow together in this competitive world. Next slide. And last but not least, I would like to highlight that innovation is an integral part of our DNA. We are building the 2 largest innovation centers that our region has seen, one in the city of Chihuahua, the Science and Technology Park, SPARC, you can see on the left, and CITA in Ciudad Juárez. These will be applied technology centers focused on meeting the needs of the industry and training highly specialized human resource that will allow us to generate solutions and contribute value beyond basic processes and a low level of integration. Incentives are available for any productive project that will generate jobs and investment from any origin, in any sector, and any size. We ask you to provide quantitative data to make an analysis of your project, and this way we'll be able to define the support that the state can bring to the project. Our support can go up to 10% of the CapEx investment. With this, I want to welcome you to Chihuahua, and we would be delighted to tour you around the state, see what cities are of your interest, and we will be sure to make your projects successful in Chihuahua. That's our commitment. I want to thank especially Luis Lara from American Industries for organizing this webinar and giving us the opportunity to share with you a little bit of what Chihuahua, the great state of Chihuahua, can put to bring your project to a successful landing.
Alejandra, also I want to thank you for your time and dedication to support the establishment of new companies in Chihuahua. A pleasure to have you with us. Thank you again. Now, Emma Schwartz is the president at Medical Devices Cluster Americas, and she is presenting us the conference Medical Devices Development in Mexico, Added Value Industries. Emma also is president of the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation, and she serves as numerous boards and committees. She was also appointed to the El Paso United COVID-19 Transition Task Force. Also, she was inducted into El Paso Business Hall of Fame and named 2017's El Pasoan of the Year. Let's join Emma in her conference.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for having me today. I am very excited to talk to you today about the medical device industry in El Paso and Ciudad Juarez. It has been quite the hidden gem for some time and has emerged recently as a critical player in the global supply chain for PPE and medical devices such as ventilators during the COVID-19 pandemic. With the trajectory of the medical device industry globally, the coordination provided to our regional industry through Bio El Paso Juarez, and the thrust of the momentum provided by COVID-19, I hope that you will see this morning that medical device product development and manufacturing in El Paso and Juarez brings true value added and quality, both essential to the global industry right here in North America. To begin, with the aging population and unprecedented advances in medicine, the demand for medical devices will undoubtedly increase in the future as the life expectancy of the general population rises. In fact, over the course of the past 40 years, babies that were born today are expected to live 7 years more than babies born in 1980. To put all of this simply, people born today will be alive longer and need medical assistance more than those who have come before them. This means that there will be an ongoing need for medical devices to be more durable, longer lasting, and more accurate than ever before. This bodes well for the medical device industry, with the global medical devices market size being valued at 426 billion US dollars in 2018 and expected to reach 613 billion by 2025. The medical devices industry in Ciudad Juarez has emerged over the last 30 years and has grown in size and sophistication during this time. You will hear more about the Binational Biomedical Device Cluster Group, Bio El Paso Juarez, in a bit, but its formation, the structure and collaboration that it has provided to the industry over the past 3 years has helped it to respond to the greatest global crisis that we have seen in over a century. In this regard, over the past few months, the unprecedented global pandemic that we have been experiencing has revealed a few key factors for the medical device industry that should predict a strong future for our regional industry. First, the impact of COVID-19 on PPE and medical devices such as ventilators has exposed the unpreparedness of enterprises to cater to an unprecedented demand surge. With global with globalization, we proved that the spread of infectious diseases can travel at tremendous speeds, increasing the probability of demand surges like this in the future. Thus, inventory systems and turnover of PPE and medical devices will be more closely examined from now on. Second, the whole world has started looking closely at the supply chain for medical devices based on the massive interruptions recently experienced, aiming for more suppliers, perhaps even duplication of suppliers to ensure an uninterrupted supply chain in the future. In fact, the FDA is collaborating with manufacturers of ventilators, ventilator accessories, and other respiratory devices to better understand the current supply chain issues related to the COVID-19 outbreak and to help mitigate any widespread shortages of these devices. This review may come with new guidance and regulations. Interestingly, cost competition may not be the most important factor anymore for many manufacturers and distributors as it has been in the past. Rather, quality and access have risen as top factors as well. Thus, the smart shoring opportunities that the medical device industry in El Paso and Juarez offer is much more attractive than ever before. Paired with the advances in manufacturing and quality that it offers, this region is the future of medical device manufacturing. And third, during the global pandemic, the medical device regulatory environment has been quickly adapting to meet the challenges of supplying sufficient PPE to frontline healthcare providers and life-saving equipment to those people in medical need. The medical device manufacturers and suppliers in this region have risen to the occasion to meet this challenge and embrace these opportunities to bring the supplies and devices faster to market, pivoting to produce certain products or ramping up quantities significantly, safely, and with value to help us emerge on the other side of the COVID-19 curve. This has opened up opportunities to both regional makers and startup companies, as well as makers and startups from around the world who are looking for manufacturing partners. So now let's take a closer look at the medical device industry in El Paso and Juarez, starting with a look at the industry in Mexico. Next slide. As you can see, in Mexico is in eighth global place as exporter of medical devices and the first place in Latin America. Mexico is also the main supplier of medical devices to the United States of America. Looking at Chihuahua alone, the state in 2018 exported almost 4 billion devices to the US. Next slide. Over the last 20 years, El Paso and Juarez have done more than just invest in medical device manufacturing. It has taken a holistic approach, looking at the entire life sciences industry, of which medical device is a very important sector, and it invested heavily, adding 2 new medical schools, 2 new nursing schools, a school of biomedical science, many different research capabilities, really focusing on its workforce and the educational opportunities. This holistic approach will most certainly demonstrate to you that medical device industry is rooted in this region and has so much opportunity to grow. Next slide. This very simplistic diagram of how the medical device industry and manufacturing industry works in El Paso and Juarez just shows you that what you are getting is really the best of both worlds, where you're taking advantage of all of the workforce opportunities, cost opportunities, regulation opportunities of both the United States and Mexico in one location, with raw materials generally coming from the United States, going into Juarez for assembly, the finished goods going back to the United States for sterilization and distribution. Next slide. But what's really exciting is that the manufacturing industry in El Paso and Juarez has over 50 years of experience, and as I mentioned earlier, over 30 years with medical device in particular. What this has led to is a robust, well-established binational medical device manufacturing ecosystem with overall annual trade over $101 billion per year, great exports, many pedestrian crossings, and as you can see on both sides of the border, many companies, large and small, in the medical device sector. Next slide. Recently, Bio El Paso Juarez engaged Grant Thornton to do a binational medical device ecosystem map, examining in close detail the medical device industry both in El Paso and Juarez. They've interviewed and toured over 60 different facilities in the region, and what this map shows you is a visual representation of the manufacturers, suppliers, and universities and others who contribute to this ecosystem. And it's really a great visual showing you how truly international and collaborative this ecosystem is. Next slide. And a quick look at the industry. There are over 30 medical device manufacturers in El Paso and Juarez producing class 1, 2, and 3 medical devices. These are made up of both corporate manufacturers and contract manufacturers, and we also have some drug device combination manufacturing in the region. There are over 50 medical device suppliers in the region, and that's growing every day. And between El Paso and Juarez, we employ over 40,000 people in the medical device industry. This industry is projected to grow by 11% over the next 5 years in El Paso, and there you can achieve over 20% cost savings of producing medical devices in Juarez. Next slide, please. This is a snapshot of the logos of over 30 medical device companies that are operating in the region, both in El Paso and Juarez, contributing to the over 40,000 direct jobs. This is a slide that we are very proud of in this region. Next slide. What's important to note too, as I mentioned, that we are looking at the overall life sciences ecosystem to root the medical device manufacturing. We're also looking at the entire value chain of medical device manufacturing to ensure that we're providing participation at all levels. What this shows is the areas in green, we have high regional participation, and that includes components manufacturing, assembly, and logistics. Medium participation in tooling, packaging, and labeling, as well as sterilization. And lower participation in the design and development. We are looking at this and working strategically to ensure that this increases in all areas so that in short time you will see greens across the board. Next slide. And that brings us to Bio El Paso Juarez. Bio El Paso Juarez is a 501c6 nonprofit organization owned by the members. It represents the medical device industry in both El Paso and Juarez. Its mission is to drive innovation, collaboration, growth, and resilience in the regional medical device sector by bringing together medical, industrial, academic, governmental, and entrepreneurial leadership. It is truly unique as it is made up of a collaboration of the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation in El Paso and the Cluster Biomédico de Juarez. Together we form Bio El Paso Juarez, and our leadership is reflective of the leaders in the medical device industry on both sides of the border that come together regularly to plan for the regional growth of this industry. Next slide. As mentioned earlier, we did retain Grant Thornton last year to do this binational ecosystem map. And what it showed is that, experience shows that life sciences innovation and manufacturing rely on several ingredients. And if you deny any one of those, growth will be limited. Fortunately, our cluster group is nurturing a holistic ecosystem in order to achieve its mission. This includes looking at our culture to ensure that we have the incentives, the political will, and the passion to see this industry grow. We are looking at patients and providers to ensure that we have the clinical trials capability and translational research happening in this region to bring innovation. We look at infrastructure such as hospitals, hospital beds, incubators, manufacturing, laboratories, and water, sewer, and bandwidth to ensure we can support the industry. Capital is so important for growth, both for startups as well as manufacturers and suppliers, so we do look to ensure that we have robust access to capital. Without talent, you have no industry, so talent is of utmost importance. We are growing our R&D competencies, our manufacturing workforce, and our management, and ensuring that we have alignment between our educational institutions and our industry. And of course, we need to make sure that people want to live, work, and play in our region, and so our focus is on quality of life and all the amenities you need to do that successfully. Next slide. And finally, looking at some of the recent activities of Bio El Paso Juarez, we are highly involved in promoting our regional capabilities. We attend many national and international conferences. We bring FDA training and other essential areas of talent development to this region. Connections and collaborations are key. Without relationships, we have no business growth. And of course, we will always be involved in strategic planning to ensure that we are on the right path for growth and success of this industry. Next slide. And with that, I want to let you know that we are here to serve you and support you in any of your needs in terms of getting your medical devices produced here in this region or growing your manufacturing operations. I want to thank American Industries very much for inviting us to be part of this presentation today.
Thank you, Emma. A pleasure to have you with us. And thank you for sharing your vision in the medical industry and the capabilities to be located in this binational location, Texas and Chihuahua. Thank you. Now, it's the time to introduce to you Will Ruiz-Caban, Executive Vice President of Quality Assurance and Regulatory Affairs at Conmed Company, a US company. We will experience with Will a great success story of a medical company with 12 years in Chihuahua, Mexico. Will joined to Conmed as Executive Vice President of Quality Assurance and Regulatory Affairs in September 2015, and in February 2016 was named Executive Vice President of Quality Assurance, Regulatory Affairs and Operations. Mr. Ruiz also has held a number of managerial positions in manufacturing and quality operations. Let's join Will in his conference.
Good morning, good afternoon to everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here today, sharing our story. I hope through this example of collaboration and partnership, you could see how these elements that have been presented to you come together in a success story. So let's go to the next slide. Let me tell you a little bit about us, about ComMed. This is a typical American success story in the sense that it was founded by an entrepreneur at his home in Utica, New York, 50 years ago. And this started as a family business that kept growing through acquisitions and different strategies to almost $1 billion list in sales of last year. And we're very proud of that, and we're celebrating our listing this year. We moved from NASDAQ to the New York Stock Exchange as part of our strategy to really present ComMed as a global company. Different to many other companies in the United States, our markets is basically evenly split between international and domestic, and we're proud of that. It gives us the necessity to create strategies that address the whole world. Our business is mostly between orthopedics and general surgery. We do a lot of disposable products to help our surgeons enhance the clinical outcomes for their patients. And basically, we have about 3,000, a little bit over 3,000 employees throughout the world. Let's go to the next slide. Our company basically is a story of, right now, our modern story of our company is a big turnaround. 6 years ago, our chairman and CEO, Kurt Harmon, joined the company. This company was basically needed to refocus, and he has done that through three main strategies. One is the people, the talent. Those are core for what we want to do. People are responsible to listen, to find the innovation, and bring that and turn it into products. So this ecosystem of listening to the customer, creating the products, and delivering results are very important. And of course, it is the most important thing is to make it profitable as a public company, and we're doing that consistently with our execution. So what we're looking is for solutions that could help us to achieve all that. And we have been having some good success over the 6 years. As you can see, our new product revenue as a percent of our new product contribution as a percent of total revenue has been increasing. And I want to mention that because our operation in Chihuahua has been very important to that. I think bringing new products, bringing them fast is critical, and you will see how that has been enabled by our operations in Mexico. We go to the next slide. We have been operating in Chihuahua since 2008, basically 12 years, has been grown, basically we have now 3 shifts. We basically have been focusing in clean room operations, disposables, plastics, extrusion, plastic assembly, but a lot of electronics. And our manufacturing facility basically could serve the US market and the rest of the world. And for that, we have had a number of registrations and basically comply with all sorts of regulatory requirements for the world. And that's been done in Chihuahua. Let's go to the next slide. This is just an example of the type of products that you will find in our manufacturing, high volume products. High mix is that there's not as much product, but we do change the lines pretty efficiently. We do a lot of extrusion and tubing for our medical products. And of course, the capital electronics piece, that there's a great industrial base in Chihuahua for electronics. Let's go to the next. So why did we come to Mexico? And I think our story, as I was telling you, this is a great American success story that grew very fast. And we basically found ourselves with 13 different manufacturing facilities across the world, from Finland to Puerto Rico, all over. And it was a necessity to really make this more efficient. We wanted to collapse this to essentially 3 manufacturing centers, 2 in the United States, but we were looking for a solution that will allow us to reduce our costs. We look all over the world, but we found the solution right here in Chihuahua. We basically wanted to leverage the NAFTA advantage, the proximity, the access, the IP protection, the industrial base that we knew we were going to find in Mexico. But we also found a partner in American Industries that helped these guys in Utica, New York, that's where our headquarters is, help them navigate through the consolidation and the integration of these facilities in Mexico. And I think that has been critical for our success here. You guys want to go to the next slide? Why did we choose Chihuahua? Well, first and foremost, Chihuahua is an incredible manufacturing center. You're going to find here an incredible industrial base. The industrial parks are amazing. You could customize it to your needs. The ability to find the right structure building for your manufacturing is something that is very attractive to us. And the ability to expand was also important, all right? The other thing that has been very important to us, and as I mentioned to you, is that we've been focusing on new product innovation. And we have found, particularly in Chihuahua City, is the ability to leverage and partner with companies that help us with engineering centers to create additional capacity for the support of innovation of R&D. So we have been able to not only manufacture, but accelerate the innovation process, working with our design center in the United States, local talent in Chihuahua, and transferring technology to our facilities. That has worked very well for us in the last few years. And this is something that we're very proud because of the infrastructure that Chihuahua offers. The talent, I tell you there, if we could go forward to the next slide and then come back, there are 38 and I think more universities in Chihuahua. One of the speakers spoke to the amount of engineering talent. We vouch for that. There's a lot of great talent, superior education in the area, and we have been able to find the right people for a lot of our projects quite fast. And that's something that makes a big difference. And all of them bilingual, and it's always been really, really competitive too. If you guys come back, you know, the other piece, the logistics of Chihuahua. I know you were talking before to Juarez, El Paso. We're only 200 miles from there. It is an incredible advantage for us in terms, particularly in medical devices. We have access to sterilization service in the States. We have access to a supplier base. It is something that makes a big difference in our logistics, and the expertise in logistics and how to move products through the border is something that really has made a difference. And in all that, we count with the help of American Industries to help us navigate to all that governmental and regulatory requirements. You guys can move a couple slides. This is an idea. Our main distribution center is in Atlanta. It's really easy to bring product right to El Paso to Atlanta. Our sterilizers are Steris and Sterigenics. Most of you guys in medical devices know that. Again, great access to that. And if we've been thinking, for example, for the future, do we need to open another distribution center in the West Coast? We're at the right location to do that. So it's equidistant to both sides of the United States. So very happy about that. And then it's easy access to international also. Let's go to the next slide. Why did we choose American Industries? I think American Industries not only has the experience, the expertise, the respect, the knowledge, the relationships. But I think if I could tell you why do we like to work with American Industries, and you could read all these are the examples of what we leverage. But I'll tell you in a different fashion, we have what we call our pillars. And our pillars are the principles that drive our execution. And among those, the first and foremost is to do things right. And I can tell you my experience with American Industries, they always stand for what is right. We deal with them. There's a lot of integrity, a lot of focus on meeting regulatory requirements. We are in medical devices. We don't make doohickeys. We make devices that sustain life. And it's important for us to have a great reputation and a great commitment to meeting all the law requirements. And we get that to American Industries. Their commitment to do things right with us is incredible. Our next pillar is that we make and keep commitments, particularly to our customers, and that we operate with urgency. And our experience, again, working with American Industries to understand our business need, to find us talent, to find the right talent, to connect us to the right people and the right resources. For example, when we were looking for design expertise, has been there. And it has been fantastic to operate with them because they understand those two principles of making and keep commitments to our customers and operating with urgency. And finally, we believe in delivering exceptional results for our customers. And again, in our relationship with American Industries, that has been at the foremost of what we're trying to do together. I mean, we all have to win, they have to win, we have to win, and we have been able to do that for the last 12 years. But I think the most important result, and if you go to the next one, and this is something that we're very, very proud, if you could go to the next slide, guys, is that there's this certification in Mexico, a great place to work. ComMed has been participating since many, many years, but the last 7 years we've been able to achieve the certification. And it talks about the quality of the environment, the engagement of your workforce, the values and the results and the commitment to results that you have. And not only we've been achieving the certification, we have been consistently raising our ranking. And right now we're among the top 30 of the best companies to work for in Mexico. Not for the state, for the whole country. And I think that's something that I have to give a lot of credit to the people of Chihuahua, to our management team, but I also give that to a lot of thank you and understand that the collaboration with American Industry has been instrumental for us to achieve this. This makes a big difference when we want to recruit, when we want to bring talent and attract people. And that's one of the things I feel that's the biggest result that I think we share with you, besides the fantastic business results that we get every year out of Chihuahua. That was my presentation. I hope that I could convey to you the ability to work with American Industries, the difference that they make in execution, and how helpful they have been for our business results. So thank you, Rogelio and everybody, and thank you to Mr. Lara and his team. It's fantastic, always working with you guys.
Thank you, Will. It is a pleasure to be working with you all this time during these 12 years. And also, I want to thank you for sharing your time, experiences, and real proof how a company can establish an operation for a long time in Mexico. Thank you again. Now we have Dan Gomez, our Director of Business Development in American Industries. He will help us with the conference, Soft Landing in Mexico. Adan has more than 20 years of experience working in world-class and multicultural environments, facilitating and promoting the establishment of new businesses in Mexico, with a strong focus in the manufacturing industry. including the aerospace, automotive, auto parts, medical devices, electric, and electronic sectors. Also, Adan is responsible for coordinating the business development team at American Industries Group. With you, Adan Gomez.
Thank you very much, Rogelio, for your introduction. And thank you to my co-panelists, fellas. Something that I certainly believe that we have in common is the high degree of commitment to the development of our community. And special thanks to you, the audience, that reserved this time in this special time for us. So the outcome of my presentation will be to focus on how soft landing in Mexico the easiest way. And before going to the next slide, I would like to remark the fact that we all live in a globalized world. Practically everything that we use or we eat or a service that we use is produced by a person in a country that is exposed to unexpected events and that affects in different magnitudes to both individuals and society. So economies of all nations are impacted as well as its supply chain. So some sectors...
Just a comment. Can you be close to the microphone? Because the volume is low. If you can...
Rogelio?
Help us.
Okay, so as I was saying, some sector will present challenges and some for them will present opportunities. Next slide, please. So global risks are elevated at many dimensions: technology, economy, society, or even the planet. Events like climate change, terrorism, cyber attacks, microfinancial crisis, or the actual pandemic. And the thing is that companies and the entire industries have been forced to transform their global value chains models, especially those that are highly dependent on China. As you can see in the slide, the concern for companies is that a disruption of 2 months length occurs in intervals of 4 years, or even less than that. Next slide, please. So maybe it's time to reshape the global landscape. Just imagine 80% of the global trade involves nations with declining political stability scores. So some industries will experience significant disruption, and mainly those that have high degree of internationalization. As you can see, at least the top list of the chart at your right, the electronics, machinery and equipment, textile and apparel, and as well as the automotive and auto part, has a high degree of internalization. And companies whose supply chain is reliant on tier 1 and tier 2 will be likely to experience disruptions. Next. And these positive or negative shifts in policies and regulations for countries or industries have changed how business can operate. A decline in major economies and a contraction of the FDI flows globally is expected to continue within the next months or even years. So the most successful companies will be the more resilient ones, the ones that are better response to near-term disruptions. As you can see, the GDP decline is expected in the major economies to be between 15 and 30%, and the global FDI will fall at least 40% within 2020. Next. So rather than locating production in a handful of low-cost developing economies to serve markets worldwide, maybe the companies should adopt a regional strategic approach that provides the flexibility necessary to respond to the shifts of economy of the global manufacturing trends. So a number of factors beyond cost will continue to keep Mexico as a global competitive hub across a range of industries. As you can see, savings on labor for manufacturing offshore may be offset by the ability of reach market more rapidly, replenish inventory, develop product prototypes, or implement design changes. So consider nearshore production or being close to customers. As you can see, 80% on the lead time is the difference between sending product from China than from Mexico, and 75% in saving costs from transportation. So adaptive and highly skilled labor force will be required as well that can adjust to new technologies and policies. And focus in enhancing productivity as well, since nowadays the labor rates have been increased more than productivity. Next, please. So setting up operations in Mexico, I will explain you how the facilitation process is. So first of all, the site selection analysis. What is the best location for your project? Then understanding how much would it cost you to operate in Mexico under different scenarios and locations. Find the best space solution. And to have a successful startup and operation of a plant in Mexico, you need an expert assistant for startup and setting up. Then to perform all necessary Mexican legal and administrative requirements to comply with the law. Provides all manpower needed and maintain a safe and healthy labor environment. And manage the day-to-day customs and transportation logistics. Next. So as for the site selection, the first thing is to understand the project. So what will be the product, the processes, the supply chain, the city profile? Is it a border, interior, large or medium-sized city? What is the time frame for the development of my project? The talent requirements that I have in terms of numbers, skills, and the stability of the region. Is there any labor union or not? Logistics, lead time, and how fast can you reach customers and suppliers is important, as well as the quality of life for both expats and their families, and the educational infrastructure, and the security, of course. So understanding the corporate criteria and the company objective is very important, but then to understanding the cost. So that's why in American Industries, we provide a comprehensive analysis of tangible and intangible aspects that compare cost analysis in a cost per hour, very accurate analysis, and then all the intangibles that will help you to understand which one is the more, which place or city is the most suitable for you. Then we will find the facility for you in terms of the time frame of the development of the project, the requirement of utilities. Is this going to be an existing or a built-to-suit facility? Are you going to buy or lease? Are you going to be outside or inside of an industrial park? And of course, how important is the curve appeal for your operation? Then, last but not least, we will organize an agenda for you with a site visit, so you can see what we have put in paper. And as Alejandra, the Secretary of Economy, mentioned, the incentives and support programs available for the 3 levels of government will be offered to you based on your project characteristics and needs. Next. There are different options to setting up an operation in Mexico, and you have to find out which business model better fit your needs. You have 5 options, and all of them are different in terms of risks and liabilities, and of course, profitability. Some of them will offer more profits than others. Next. Let me introduce my company. My company is American Industry. It's a privately owned Mexican company that was founded 44 years ago by Mr. Luis Lara. He is the founder and CEO of the company. We have supported over this time frame more than 200 international companies to start up and grow their distribution and manufacturing operations in Mexico through 2 business units, the shelter administrative support and the industrial real estate. Our credentials nowadays accounts for more than 54 clients, a headcount of 14,000 employees from our clients. We have presence in 14 industrial parks. We have built over 125 buildings that represents more than 14 million square feet and over 140 tenants. And we perform every year more than 30,000 trouble-free trade transactions without any risk and liability for our customers. Next. The mission of American Industries, as I said, is to provide high quality, value-added products and services that facilitate the successful establishment and operation of international corporations in Mexico. Next. We have presence in the most important industrial locations. Either if you're planning to start an operations right away in the border, we have presence in the states of Chihuahua, Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas. We have also distribution centers in the US side of the border for the freight forwarding activities in El Paso and Nuevo Laredo. And we have also presence in the occidental part of the country in the state of Jalisco. And also in the Bajío region, you are going to reach the Mexican market or the East Coast market in the US. Practically, there is the same distance from the central part of Mexico to the province of Quebec in Canada that traveling from the East Coast in the US to the West Coast in the US. Next. So as I say, your portfolio accounts for more than 200 clients over these 44 years of experience. The country of origin of these companies from 13 different countries and a wide variety range of sectors. The most important have been the aerospace industry, automotive and auto parts, and of course, medical devices, indoor and outdoor appliances, construction, wire manufacturing, or transversal sectors, tier 1 or tier 2, within the electronics industry, electric as well, and plastic injection and metal mechanic industry. Next. The first business unit is the real estate. So we offer services such as site selection and property management, and we offer products. We offer industrial parks, inventory buildings, multi-tenant facilities, modular warehouses, build-to-suit lease, and sale-back lease. Next. The second business unit is the shelter. So I will very quickly explain the concept. Basically, the concept of the shelter administrative support and compliance is you focus on your core business and we will take care of everything else. Our slogan is partnership of success, because you are going to take care of the management to direct operations. You will have full production over production, quality, engineering, design, and delivery. And we will take care not only of the administrative part of the business, but also we will act as a consultant and we will be your partner in Mexico. Next. So setting up in Mexico can be under different scenarios or frameworks. The not incorporated and the incorporated. American industries offer the same scope of services in both of them. So you can have the flexibility of starting very fast under the not incorporated and enjoying different benefits. So you can start as fast as in 2 months with an existing legal entity from our company, American Industries. We can use our existing Maquila program, the IMEX program for import and export. You can use the existing value-added tax certification. You can use the permits and the structure that already exists and reduce the exposure and liability of your company in Mexico, maximizing their savings. The other way is the incorporated framework. This is a must and is required if your company needs to invoice in Mexico. So for this, you will need to incorporate a legal entity in Mexico without licenses and permits and certifications that will have to be obtained prior to operating. You have to apply for a new Maquiladora program and apply for a new value-added tax certification that could last up to 10 or more months. So for initiate operations, the time frame will be from 6 to 7 months, and you will have full exposure and liability in Mexico. Next slide, please. This is an example of how your operating framework will work under the not incorporated scenario if you're going to perform permanent exports of the finished goods. So basically, it's as simple as the parent company based in US or abroad sign a shelter contract with American Industries, will be your cost center in Mexico. We will import raw material, machinery, and equipment under a consignment agreement. You will be the owner of this raw material, machinery, and equipment. We will help you to calculate the income tax based on the safe harbor method. You will have no profit sharing, no value-added tax on Mexican purchases. You will have the IMEX program immediately from day 0, and the OEA certification will give you security in the supply chain, plus the value-added tax certification in the AAA modality that allows you not to pay value-added tax on import and exports. And this framework the only requirement is that the invoicing will happen between the parent companies, and the finished product will be permanently exported to your final customers from Mexico. Next. A variation of this operating framework will be if your finished product has to be to a customer facility in Mexico. So it's practically the same scope of services, just the finished product is going to be exported to a virtual export, and the requirement will be that your customer facility in Mexico needs to have an annex program. So the final export will be done for your customer facility within Mexico, but the invoicing remains the same with a virtual export between the parent company and the final customer abroad. Next. So the scope of services includes 37 services under the umbrella of American industries, from human resources, fiscal and accountability, customs and logistics, coordination of transportation, purchasing of non-productive material, environmental, health, safety, and labor compliance, expat support, and the networking that we have developed for over 4 decades. The term for a shelter contract is typically 4 years for a startup and run with no entrance and exit fee. The shelter program is for all sizes of projects and sectors. There are different responsibilities under the shelter program. As you can see on the slide, the left side will be your responsibility. So you are responsible of management to direct operations, full control over production and quality, and the machinery and equipment, as well as the raw material, will be owned by you, the client. We will take care of the rest. Next. So what are the benefits of operating under the American Industry Shelter Program? Well, starting by that, you will have full control of your operation, immediate access to an experienced American industries team with very well-established processes, certifications in place, ongoing advisory in human resources, custom, fiscal, among others, a speed and fast startup within 2 or 3 months, and will help you to lower the learning curve. You don't need to hire any administrative personnel for covering the administrative functions. The shelter fee is lower than the standalone, so you will have savings on that, and we can perform indirect purchasing or local purchasing with no value-added tax. This is a cash flow benefit for your company that will help you to maximize savings. And due to the large amount of purchasing that we do for all of our client portfolio, you can use our economies of scale to save more and more. As I said before, no extra or hidden fees or no markups, and the IT platform is already set with licenses and equipment included. So operate in Mexico with less risk, minimal liabilities, and focus on your core business will give you trouble-free access to operating in Mexico with full compliance with Mexican laws and regulations, a minimum supervision required from your headquarters that will allow you to focus on productivity, quality, customer, and on-time delivery. Plus, American Industries offers you the option to operate under the non-incorporated framework to give you more advantages. Last but not least, in American Industries, we care about our customers. We believe in creative thinking, and we already are adapting customer experience in the time of coronavirus. So your company can address customers' acute needs today and forge stronger ties in the post-COVID era. This is the end of my presentation, and I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and also to wish you and your family, as well as your employees, to stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We hope this information can support our audience in their efforts to grow their operations in a safe and a productive way. Last but not least, to end this webinar, Juan Ivan Alvarez, my colleague in Juarez, Chihuahua, Shelter Director, will help us with the closing remarks.
Hello, everyone. I will be in charge of the closing remarks, and I have 3 important messages for you. First, I want to thank Alejandra and Rolando for the information shared with everyone this morning. Definitely a well-directed and coordinated strategy between the private sector and the government will bring better results to this binational region of these two great states, such as Chihuahua and Texas. And Emma, congratulations for the success of the binational biomedical cluster on which you are the leader, and all the great benefits that are being obtained in this region in the short time of being constituted with a long list of membership. I am sure that we will hear a lot more about the achievements of this effort. And what is better than to hear directly from one of our clients about the successful experience in the arrival of their company into Mexico and the great benefits they have received working with a shelter like American Industries. Thanks, Will. We appreciate a lot for the opportunity of being your partner for success. And remember that we will be sending this presentation to all the participants in this event. And we will also be sending you the invitation to attend our next webinar on September the 24th, in which the main topic will be how to benefit from USMCA in the automotive industry. And please write down this contact information that appears right now in your screen if you wish to send your question to our panelists who will answer to you shortly. And if you want to receive a complimentary estimated cost about how much would it cost to have a manufacturing operation in Mexico and a successful soft landing free of risk and penalties, please contact us and we will be glad to help you. Then I want to invite all of you to continue place your trust in American Industries like many hundreds of other clients have done in these past 44 years of success stories. That is why we are the pioneers of this industry and the most trustable startup and shelter provider company in Mexico. Finally, I want to thank all of you for your participation and have a good day. See you soon.